Now Brayden, I think he's someone who could really start to take a dark turn as season 2 goes on. He's definitely going to be in the streets a lot more this season, and he's going to be involved with Tariq's business a lot more, with Effie as well. And we're going to see him working with Kane at some point as well, as one of the teasers has showed. I really wouldn't be surprised if he was introduced to the TARDIS and the dark side of this game a lot more this season, because as Michael Rainey Jr. teased, the stakes are going to be higher for Tariq, and the stakes are going to be higher for Brayden as well, because I'm sure he's going to start to learn just what Tariq is capable of, and possibly find out that he was the one responsible for Jabari's death. But even though they have this close bonded relationship, loyalty will be tested, and that's how they've described Brayden's character going into season 2 of Ghost, loyalty. So we're going to be breaking down what loyalty means for Brayden and what to expect for his character. We're going to run through some of the quotes that Gianni gave on what we can expect from Brayden in season 2 as well. But of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2, Ghost and Power Universe related. But just like we went through Drew's character breakdown, Brayden doesn't have a character description as such as well, but he's been described by Ghost Stars as loyalty. His season 1 character description described him as charismatic and goofy, and loyal as they come. Brayden Weston is privilege personified when he's reunited with his former roommate Tariq at Stansfield. Eager to reignite their high school drug business, Brayden leverages all of his advantage to expand his role in the game. But as the reality of the drug world gets increasingly closer to home, will Brayden be ready for the danger that comes alongside the rush? So loyal as they come and eager to be in the game is what we saw from Brayden in season 1, and loyalty is going to be a big thing for him in season 2 as well, which we're going to constantly refer back to in this video. But to add to this, Gianni, who plays Brayden, said that it's not a Brayden and Tariq scene if we're not arguing about what's going on with their business. So you're going to see a lot of loyalty being tested, but you're also going to see a lot of them bonding and truly understanding each other more and why we make these decisions. You know, it's Brayden and Tariq. So obviously we have differences in what we believe in, but it's for the greater good in my opinion, so you're going to see a lot of deepening of relationships. So that's exactly what Gianni said, but that wasn't exactly the case in season 1, because we saw Tariq keeping Brayden in the dark about certain situations, about their business, and what was happening with their personal life. He didn't tell him that Effie was in town, and he had to find out from Effie himself. We saw how Tariq found out that Riley was Cooper Sax's niece, and wanted to get rid of her, just like how Ghost wanted to get rid of Holly. But instead of telling Brayden the truth, he lied, and he said that she was hitting on him to get him to break up with her. And we really saw these Tommy and Ghost type traits from these two characters, which Gianni teased as well. He said that although there are similarities with his relationship with Tariq and Tommy and Ghosts, there are a lot of differences as well, just like how Tommy grew up in the streets, whereas Brayden, he comes from a privileged background and doesn't exactly know the street element, which we'll come to in a moment. But loyalty is one thing we can associate with Brayden so far, because he told Tariq, "Don't keep secrets from me, because if the police come knocking, then I need to know what to say." And that's what we'll see from these two. We're going to see them starting to build a bit more of a bond and begin to trust each other, because Tariq is going to have to learn to trust someone. Even though they say you can't trust anyone in this game, Tariq's lost the one person he could trust, who was Tasha. So we'll have to rely on the closest person to him, and that's Brayden, because he definitely won't be trusting any of the TARDIS, and he'll still have doubts about Effie too, because she's burned him before. But this bonded relationship between the two will definitely be tested, as he teased as well, and as the trailer and some of the teasers have shown us, Brayden will be on the end of a beating from someone, and it may be because Tariq was too busy with Diana or Lauren, which is why Brayden couldn't get hold of Tariq on the phone, which is why Brayden is going to be on the end of a beating. But who by? That's the question. So even though we're going to see this closeness between the two, their relationship will definitely be tested, and loyalty will be tested at times, just like loyalty was tested with Tommy and Ghost a lot of times in Power. And it's going to be interesting as Brayden starts to learn some of the truths about what happened to Jabari, if and when he finds out, and if Tariq tells him the truth. Because Brayden, he hasn't really exactly experienced that side of the game, the side which has consequences for every single one of your actions. And I'm going to come to those consequences for Brayden in a moment when we talk about his brother Trace. But he was given this small taste of the streets when Kane came to Stansfield and took him and his brother to sell on the corners of Queens. And you can tell Brayden is someone who thrives on any given situation put in front of him, whether it be course correct or on the streets where he sold his bag of product and made so much money, it made him even more hungry. He showed us in season 1 that he wants to make something for himself, not from what his parents give him. He said his parents make a shitload of money, so he doesn't really need to be in the game. But just like how we were introduced to Cooper Sax's family, just to give us a bit more of a background as to why Sax is so hungry for success and why he wants to make it on his own, because he doesn't want to have to work for his little brother and seem like a failure. The same can definitely be said about Brayden. We were introduced to Brayden's family in episode 8 of the first season, and you can tell, he's definitely the odd one out. He's different to his brother, and he doesn't want any handouts from his parents either. he wants to make it on his own, and he's chosen this game to make him rich. He got a taste of this at Choke with Tariq in Season 6 of Power, and they picked back up at Stansfield with course correct. He told Tariq that he made this money, not his parents, and he loves this shit. He said that it's the only thing he's ever been good at. But the most important thing for Brayden's character going into Season 2, apart from loyalty, is he hasn't seen this side to the game that Tariq has, or Kane has. And this is exactly what's next for Brayden's character. We're not going to see him turning dark all of a sudden, but it's going to be a slow process for him, because as I said before, he's not from the streets, he's not experienced or seen death like Tariq and Kane have, and this is exactly the next step for him. How will he react when he learns about Jabari's death, and how close Jabari's death is actually to him, and who committed this murder? Where will his loyalties lie when and if his brother can't keep his mouth shut about what he knows about Kane and the Tejadas? Because Trace is someone who I think is like Zeke. If put under pressure, he's gonna talk. He's not built for the game, so he'll definitely be a problem for the Tejadas and Tariq. And if he's a problem for them, then he's also a problem for Brayden too. So at some stage, I think he'll have to go. And I still think Brayden could be tasked with taking out his own brother from someone like Kane to prove his loyalty. Trace, Zeke, Carrie, they are all going to be high up on my death predictions list when I do my death predictions. So is Brayden really ready for the dangers that comes alongside the rush? And this is why his character description from Season 1 is still so important, because he still hasn't experienced all these dangers and consequences of the game like Tariq has when he lost Reyna for hanging around with the wrong people. How I mentioned in Drew's character breakdown that he's just one major death away from turning into an absolute demon, which could come in the form of Ev's death. Could the same be said about Brayden? He's just one major death away from really going down a dark path. It's definitely going to happen at some point, it's just a matter of who, when, and why. But Brayden, he's definitely going to be in the game a lot more this coming season, as a few of the quick flashes in the trailer have showed us. And hopefully this is a team up, which I hope we see a lot this season, which is Kane and Brayden. This is something I definitely think they foreshadowed in the first season with what we saw from them in episode 6. We saw how Kane took a liking to Brayden, so I think he's going to be back for Brayden's help at some point in Season 2. And I did read some comments saying that Brayden and Kane are the one hitting this jewelry store, but I don't think it's Brayden. I think it is more likely to be Lil Guap than Brayden, because we saw how Kane is going to be working with Guap early on in the season, and because they have no connect at the moment, they're going to be hitting licks like they did in episode 6 of the first season when they hit the church. But that's just a breakdown of Brayden's character going into Season 2 of Ghost and what we can expect, and the questions I have. Will he get his first kill in Power, and how dark will his character really turn? I think we might have to wait until Season 3 when we really start to see Brayden and Tariq fully in the streets, because the show will become a lot more darker as the series goes on, as will Brayden, Drew and Tariq. But drop all your thoughts and comments about Brayden's character going into Season 2. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.